This country is in a mess. I think it's time that we started to rebuild Britain. We need to start again, don't we? Let's face it, the government is out of control. It is, as we already know, a private corporation. We know the courts are, we know the police are, we know the councils are. We know there's fraud and we know there's corruption rife. We've got to start again. It's down to the people of this land to say, nope, we've had enough of this. It's time to rebuild. And what better way than rebuilding from the grass upwards, from us, from the people, we the people. Now, how would you do that? Well, first of all, we need perhaps, if we are going to adhere to something that is a bit like the old system but better, just for the sake of a transition to perhaps later on some form of self-rule where we are in more control. But if we are going to generate a shift, we need perhaps a new council, a new type of council, certainly a public body, a public authority, not a private business that is pretending to be a public authority and registered on Dun & Bradstreet and there to collect money purely for profit. No, no, no. We need a real council, a proper one made up of the people of the town, made up of genuine different voices of the town. And that's what we desperately need, so that we can get the towns and the villages and then the cities all working from the ground up. And that seems to make perfect sense to me. And I thought what we should do maybe is what the lovely people of Biggleswick do. You may remember I've spoken about Biggleswick, this wonderful town in between the two counties of Goodfordshire and Bestham. It is, of course, an allegory. It isn't a real town. It is a make-believe town. For me, it's the ideal town. And the people of Biggleswick, what they do is they say to their council, look, council, we are going to have a council, but the council is going to have a manifesto. It's going to have a load of promises of what it's going to do, a bit like in the general election. And what it's going to do, excuse me, I've knocked my pipe over, and it's a very nice pipe, thank you very much. What it's going to do is whoever wants to run the council will put together a manifesto and they'll explain exactly what they're going to do, what the budget they need to do it, and how they're going to run everything that you need, from the libraries, from the rubbish pickup, from the parks, from policies on the architecture, whether they're going to keep the architecture in keeping with that particular town, if it's a market town or a seaside town or a rural farming community. They may want to offer a similar sort of thing and keeping everything nice and integral. Perhaps they have a policy where they won't have too many large supermarkets coming in, and perhaps they'll have a policy that says actually we're not going to build on the agricultural fields and the surround of the village or town because we know that we need farming. They may have a completely different policy. They may say we want 15-minute cities, we want to have ugly buildings, more urban buildings for, say, a seaside town. They may want to have a lot of dangerous 5G. They may want to follow net zero type policies. And then again, they can put those forward. And really and truly, it would be down to the parties, the people who want to run these councils, to argue with the people of the town and say, this is why we need this. And the people of the town can get together and debate the issues in town halls, in the parks, on the wherever, in the village halls and wherever, in the meeting rooms and in the theatres and wherever. They can get together and have a good old discussion about what they think is good for the town until they come up with one of the parties and they think, yeah, actually, this is the benefits that we want. We do want a 15-minute city, and we want to be locked down. We want to be radiated by 5G, and we want fluoride in the water. You know, if that's what the people generally want en masse, then that probably would be it. Not that we say that democracy is the fairest of systems. Perhaps you'd have to have an 80-20. So if 80% of the people liked it, then that would be better than, say, 50-50. I'm sure that there would be a way of getting a fair system, perhaps with representatives from the other parties sitting on the council in some fashion. So like a little mini governance. But the point is that eventually you would end up with a council that it is there what the people want. If they don't want that 5G stuff and the 15-minute cities, if they want beautiful architecture, if they want their parks open for the children, if they want to have clean water, if they want to be able to drive their cars wherever they like, if they want sensible policies, they might go and vote for that one. Who knows? Anything is possible. The point is that if we work from the ground up and there's a manifesto for the council, then that's the council you get. Now, if that council goes off its manifesto and starts putting in, say, nefarious things that you haven't asked for, like a whole load of surveillance cameras, or the corporations are starting to invade all over the place and they put in their face recognition things, or there's an idea that we might put in digital ID here, there and everywhere, or we can't use cash or that sort of thing, then if the council goes off its manifesto, then they're out. As simple as, you know, perhaps they only need 3 different things to say, right, okay, you've gone off your manifesto, you haven't promised what you've done, you're not delivering what the people want, I'm sorry, you go here and now. Strict as that. Because that way they can't start creeping in with policies that nobody's actually asked for and nobody actually wants. We have a whole load of nonsense being put in where I live. They're beginning to put in this underground heating, which I'm told does not compete with gas boilers. They've put in 28 5G towers and they'll be attaching all the equipment very soon. We know that there's cycle lanes planned and various other 15-minute things. Nobody's actually asked for any of this, not that I've found, walking about and asking people. I don't particularly want to have my brain radiated by the 5G, thank you very much. In the Biggleswick Council scenario, we'd be able to say, well, that's not on your manifesto, mate, you're out. As simple as that. And the next one would be in. So I think we've got to rebuild Britain. We've got to start ground up from us people. And one of the ways is to make sure that we have, as I say, a public authority that is then looking for contributions and innovative and helpful ways to get those contributions from the people. Engage the people in the projects that are going in the town, instead of having this blackmail and saying, oh yes, well, according to legislation act, the new finance, the Financial Act, whatever the damn thing's called, 1992, the Financial Act 1992, it just says you are a slave and you've got to pay it because we said so, thanks very much. Instead of that, perhaps there is a much better way that people can either contribute in their time as well as money, or instead of money, people who haven't got a lot of money might be able to contribute to their environment. There has got to be more interesting ways than this one-size-fits-all, this globalist mentality that obviously is hurting people left, right and centre. We've seen that the government is absolutely destroyed and is irrelevant now for the people. Same with the councils, same with the police, same with the courts, same with the authority. We've got to start again. We're going to rebuild this country and we're going to rebuild it from the people's point of view, not from those megalomaniacs who think they are in charge.